let's start. So welcome to the BEwell Hub Experience. This is a space dedicated to uncovering insights, tackling difficulties, and celebrating successes from our life journeys. My name is Gary Marcus Judge, and I will be your host today with Anna Leverents. The BEwell get-togethers are designed to support, share, and inspire. After last week's inspirational speaker, Jody Ogle-Brown, we have another one today in Anna Leverents. So who is Anna? Who is Anna Leverents? Anna is a quantum leap facilitator and a catalyst for joyful change. Our talk today is entitled Flow, Joyful Change in Action, Embracing Freedom, Fulfillment, and Purpose. Welcome, Anna. Welcome. So
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be a joyful coach, who you work with, what kind of issues you deal with, and then we can go into the topic a little bit deeper, joyful change.
Thank you. Well, the joyful change is something I did myself recently. Many, many years it was about successful change, and now it is joyful change. I'm a lifelong truth and wisdom seeker and a catalyst for joyful change and a quantum leap facilitator. And it all started about 18 months ago. I was on a quest while some clients hit a point of impossibility to change in various areas of their lives. They were sort of in a box, stuck, and some almost jinxed. So with this, I realized I myself need a big change too. How to? Well, I went through a divinely guided, amazing healing journey. I gained incredible peace, clarity, and it was very deep and fulfilling. And in this process, I realized impossible is just a belief. It's about getting out of your own way and allow for the miracles, yes, plural, allow for the miracles that are waiting for you to make joyful change a reality. So that is where I come from at the moment. People I work with, all walks of life for many, many years, many business people or people that are, say, they wonder if it's a good thing to become self-employed or start their own business. And yeah, so
okay, we've got some questions. Perhaps I can just go with a question, Anna, just to give the frame to the conversation. So how do we know when we are in this state of joyful change? What are the feelings, the sensations? How do we know?
Well, you know by the joy you feel, but well, joyful change is, say, a process, like you are learning English or whatever. So you don't know that you're learning English. It's just something that goes in the background. And because my experience with successful change in the past, and I noticed many people, myself included, there is change, successful change, and say, yeah, I made it, finally. And you're sort of happy, joyful, whatever. And then there comes a point when you say, yeah, I made this change and it is successful, but where is the joy, so to speak? Just as an example, you finally get the car you ever dreamt of and you have it and you are very proud and joyful and whatever you are. And then because it is not a joyful change, for whatever reason, sometimes it's because of your life journey. So now you have this wonderful car and your joy fades because there is some engine issues, there is whatever issue that is murking the joy. So this joyful change is, say, the background And it is, well, actually, I realized it is a lifestyle. And there is no manual to it. The key is be curious, be open-minded, and be playful.
Okay, let's go a little bit. So we were talking about joyful change. We're talking about also a flow state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me try to understand correctly what we're talking about as in flow, as in when you're completely in an action, whether it's a sporting or it's a work activity, when you completely drown out, exclude the external noise.
So sorry to interrupt. This is not the flow. I mean, yes, there is this wonderful book I read years ago. Did not quite get it, like the flow for athletes or the flow you are talking about. The flow in this is like the flow, like letting go of control. When you let go of control, your need to control, say you are curious, you're open-minded, you're playful, you let go of your need to control because we are control freaks. We are conditioned to control everything, which is our biggest obstacle. So when you are in this kind of flow, you notice it when there is synchronicity. Synchronicity abounds. It's like good luck, whatever. It's like what most people don't experience because we are so conditioned to control, to have our deadline. So when you are in this flow, it's like you allow.
Okay.
It is unusual because we are so conditioned to control.
Because I was looking at flow as in the total concentration into an activity, whether it's sports, whether it's work, whether you, and I was trying to understand how we can get into that state. Is it through a meditation?
No.
Is it through what takes us into that flow state that helps us to be
Conscious awareness, being the observer. I know this is unusual, and so how to get there? Conscious awareness, just be here now, when you are present in the moment, which we are normally are not, because we are so busy meeting our timelines or whatever. So be here now. The easiest way to get there is breathing, but not these fancy breathing techniques that have their own purpose. So this is really very simple. Be here now comes to your mind, say, okay, I am here now. And I take a long, slow breath. Maybe we do this right now, just at your own pace. I'm not counting, just the thing is, it's a long, slow breath to the bottom of your diaphragm. Yeah, you never have been there. And then you keep breathing sort of sideways when you at the bottom of the diaphragm, and then you keep breathing. You will notice your rib cage expands. With some kinds of sports, you know this kind of breathing. So you keep breathing and you're not done. You keep breathing to your collarbone, the tips of your lungs under your collarbone at your own pace, and release. And if you do this like this, it's like you're sighing. Ah, everything went well. Ah. And there's something else with this deep, long breath. It signals to your brain, I'm safe. You only breathe really long and slow when you're safe. You do not need to check your environment for tigers or whatever. You're safe. You are here now, and go from there.
Okay.
And then you can.
Matthew's got his hand up. I think Matthew, you took your hand down. Are you still got?
Yeah, I'm looking at joyful change, and I'm thinking about being happy, and I'm wondering, do you need to be happy, or do you just need to not be unhappy?
There is a difference between joy and happiness. So happiness is overhyped, and happiness actually depends on something outside of you. And what I realized in my healing journey, you can be joyful and in pain. Like somebody said, enjoy your pain. Yeah. So the difference is joy is a state of being. Happiness, not really. It comes and goes. So you can embody joy, and well, you do not need to be it all the time, which is impossible. And that is why happiness does not really work, because you cannot hold this state of being. Or a good thing, so where I come from, this freedom, joy, and fulfillment. And then people ask me, yeah, how to? So it's pretty simple. It starts with freedom, and freedom starts within yourself. And freedom is a state of being. And when you are in this state of being, even though you are, say, in the outside world, you are seemingly anything else but free, when you embody this state of being, then you can choose how to react. Like it's a state of being. And when you are in the state of being free, with freedom comes joy. We hardly ever are in the state of freedom because this world is pretty unfree. We are in countless boxes. So you are in the state of freedom, and with freedom comes joy. And with the joy, you radiate the joy, and you attract that which fulfills you, which again gives you more freedom to do whatever it is you have to do or you want to do. And there is the state of being is very important. We are human beings, and we became human doings. And when we come back to our state of being, you see, you need to be what you need to be in order to do what you want to do, to have what you want to have. So it all starts with the being. I know this is unusual concepts, but I'm here to spread it into the world, to make joyful change the reality of everyone.
That's what we're here, Anna. We're here to listen to you. So Stephen's got his hand up. Stephen, you got an insight? You got something to share?
Well, it's interesting because I've had an experience of being in I call it being in love, not related to anyone, but it's that joyful place of being where my body's creating that same endorphic response, but it's just a response to the joy. And you're right, bad things can happen, but they don't affect you as much because the way that you perceive them is quite different. And my story is simply, on my 50th birthday, I realized I wasn't happy, and I made a choice to be happy. But I realized that it was such a nebulous thing. You can't really grasp happiness, like you said. And so in that journey, what had started it was there was a big fight that I had with my partner about doing this big project I was doing out back. There's a lot of stonework and everything else, and it was taking too long. And so as I was outside, I decided not to do it for her. I decided to do it as a offering to God, as a connection to my backyard, to nature, and also to just do the best that I could. And there was an error that I saw, which normally I probably would have paved over, but it would have expanded as the wall went up, and it would have left a lasting, blemish on the work. So even though it was kind of a little bit a big setback, I decided to go back and do it the right way. and I dropped into this flow state where it was like a state of consciousness, a state of gratitude, a state of being, and the work progressed quite rapidly. And it was such a beautiful transition from the place of conflict that I had come from, that I was filled with this joy, and I completed not only that work, but pretty much what I had planned for that day and the next day as well. And I was so pleased by this that when I walked back in, I walked in and actually walked into conflict again. And I realized that we can make a conscious choice to stay in that flow state. So one is recognizing that it exists, and two is making a conscious choice to go back into that. And so the whole point of all of this is that in my journey, I found that what you're saying is absolutely 100% real. And we also grow in a little bit of awareness in this journey as well. So what is the best way to share the concept that this is possible, and how can we turn it into a skill so that people can get better at this?
Well, actually, upcoming, I do have a 12 weeks group mentoring starting in December 21st. And so there is a lot of things I'm in the process of putting together. And after, say, when this group mentoring ends in 2025, there will be the Joyful Change community. So and in between, I have webinars and all kinds of things in my pipeline. So just connect with me. My website is joyful-change.com, or you connect with me on LinkedIn, or visit my website and go from there. And so what you described, Stephen, is exactly what I experienced myself. And say, if a good way to get into this joyful feeling or state is an attitude of gratitude. And like you decided, I do it differently. I don't give my energy over there. That's not useful, not for me, not for my partner. So I decide I do something else. I attune to something bigger. And while doing so, I have an attitude for gratitude for the work that I do, for what I perceive. So this is really the game changer, this attitude of gratitude, no matter what the reality is like with this freedom, joy, fulfillment. Many years ago, I don't know who it was, somebody who was in jail. It was not right that he was there. He was punished unrightfully many years, and when he finally was free again, he was asked about his experience. And his answer was very surprising. He said, while being in jail, I really found freedom. Because freedom, there's two aspects to it. There's freedom from and freedom to. And usually we just want to run away. I want to get free from the situation I'm in. Yeah, here I am outside of this situation, and now I'm free too. Yeah, no idea what I want. So you need to get before the idea so I want to get free from, and then I'm free too. So this takes a while, and then we come back to the conscious awareness. When you think of your values, what are your values? What do you value? And maybe you take a note, what do you value? And more than one, just take it down. And then look, this value of mine, is it valued by the people around me? Is it valued in our world? what keeps me from living this? And with this, you come sooner or later to sort of your purpose, your mission, whatever, and you can go from there. And this helps you to have your joyful change. And this joyful change is sort of a quantum leap. And a quantum leap is, well, when you are over there, you look back, said, yeah, there is some logic to it. But where you are right now, you have no clue. You have some ideas, you have wishes, desires, but you don't know how to get there. And then we come back to the flow. When you are in this flow state, and not the flow state for the athletes, just the flow of be here now, being conscious aware of what happens to me, what experiences, and I observe it. I observe, I don't absorb, I just watch it and flow with it. And then I will, then you notice when you start this process, you notice the synchronicities, the little things. Like in the morning, it pops into your mind, actually, I would like new sneakers. And then something happens unplanned, and you end up in front of a shop with a special offer, your size, everything you did not even dream of. So this is flow and synchronicity. It is the little things that are easily overlooked. And when you really look at it and maybe at the end of the day, just take inventory. Where did I experience flow today, synchronicities without noticing, because I'm not used to it. And you can say, okay, I decide to notice. So with this decision, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So I'm trying to understand this flow state. Is this a flow state when you are present or when you are not present? Because there's this ambiguous.
So you see this flow state with the athletes, or when you are immersed in a project, then you narrow down, and then you are very focused, and then you just are on a divinely guided autopilot, so to speak.
Okay.
And the flow that I mean is you are consciously aware, you are fully present, you observe, and then you flow with this. And I don't know if it works. We can just have an exercise when you just close your eyes and attune to this kind of flow that I'm talking about, that I cannot really put in words. So when you attune to this energy field of joyful change and flow, be here now and you flow. You flow with what is. And perhaps you will feel how you expand, your field, your awareness expands, because you're not focused on a target, on a goal. You attune to the flow of what is. You are part of the flow of what is. And you can come back to this anytime. And in this state of flow of what is, you can have your questions or your values or whatever, and you just take this into this flow, conscious awareness flow state, and you marinate with it. So you don't meditate, you marinate. You observe your thoughts, not necessarily the feelings that can lead you astray, just your thoughts or ideas or whatever pops up. And you just observe.
So a question, Anna. So what could be another word for flow? What could be?
Letting go. Letting go of your need to control. So when you think of a child, young child, or say even an animal, your pet, your dog, your cat, they are in a state of flow. Well, yes, they are easily distracted, but so I'm very grateful to have this audience here to see what really the question is, for me to put it in words, to put it in a book, a course, whatever. So there's all kinds of stuff on my to-do list.
Yeah. We were speaking before we started the recording regarding the difference between mindfulness and conscious awareness. I think that was the difference. Could you just go over that so the listeners can actually see the difference? Because we were talking about being mindful, being present, but now you're talking about something different, being more into this.
Yeah. So with the mindfulness, it is you're on the same. So you are on this plane, on the stage. You are mindful, watching, feeling, observing, not judging. Just you are mindful, and then you can say, okay, and now I imagine from where I am what I want, how this will feel. Well, there is a catch. You are on the same plane, and you project from your state of being you are in what it might be, and there can be change, but you're on the same plane, on the same stage, if you will. So, and when with this conscious awareness, with this there can be transformation, because you're open for a change that goes somewhere else, where something you cannot imagine. Because we are actually limited by our imagination.
Could you share a story or an experience or a case study where someone came to you, a client, and they had a situation, obviously not naming names, but trying to actually put this into a context?
Can you specify the question?
Yeah. Could you share a case history, a case study?
No.
Ah.
That is, I need a different kind of a question. So
Another, I don't know. Lily, ask a question.
I don't have a question, but I want to know if maybe what I just experienced is this. I was just in Rome, and my husband was pickpocketed, and it's a long story. Sad face 2 days ago, so I'm still like processing it. But thing is, we were like panicked, and then we got off, and logically we were just like, oh, cancel cards. And I was very upset and like emotional, because I'm very I feel a lot, and my husband's very neutral. He's Japanese and he's just always neutral. And I was like, ah. So I noticed like my thoughts about like, because he had like his American green card. He has all these cards he didn't need, and I was getting like upset about it. But then I caught myself and I'm like, this is not helpful. I need to come back to what we can control in this situation and just like not make things worse. So I'm not sure if this is exactly that, but what happened when I just breathed into it, I let it go. We canceled all the cards, and then all these things lined up, these synchronicities lined up. We went to the police stop, which I wasn't going to do because we met these people on the train. They say it's not worth it. But then I wasn't even going to research it. But to get our card for France again, we would have to have a police report. So something in my intuition told me like, check out that. And then I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyways. And then we went to this place and it was closed. And then we went to another one. And the timing of it, the synchronicities of it, there's these Germans behind us, and they had been to a different police station, and long story short, they saw a wallet that looked like my husband's, and we're like, let's not get our hopes up. We're just like, let it go, and like trying to stay calm. But then we ran 30 minutes to this other police station, and it was there. And I just think like it's these synchronicities of like letting go, and it's incredible when you just like, you don't panic and you just focus on what you can do and you let go. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Something
And
like that. What we're
sort
talking
of, yeah. So sort of when you let go, like people say, let go and let God. You see, you let go of your need to control because you are completely out of control. Said, okay, I let go. I do what I can do, but no, not but. And at the same time, say your guidance is working with you. And they say, thank goodness she let go. And now we gently direct her in the right direction. So when you stop worry, things get a lot easier. And yeah, it was an experience. It served many purposes. You realize in hindsight what you learned and how it felt different, because it is a process. It is a healing journey, and it is a lifestyle. So for me, 18 months ago with my clients, I started this, or I was guided through this healing journey and realized this is a lifestyle. This is what people really need, a very different approach, a state of being. So when you let go of the control, then you can be what you need to be. In your case, calm. Don't freak out. We just flow with it. You float with it without knowing that you're flowing. And then you can do what you do. So you did things the way it offered itself to you. And then you can have what you need to have, which was the wallet. So in a way, you already lived this without knowing. Take this experience and file it in your system as a sample how this works when you have no clue that it works, and go from there and say, okay, I allow for the miracles, because in a way it is a miracle that you were led to the right place. So I allow for the miracles that are waiting for me. I make joyful change my reality.
I love, Anna, that you mentioned joy, and this is all about joy too, because like the gratitude piece, I could talk all day about how my life's been so much joyful because of gratitude. And in that moment when I found that calm, it was also because I was like thankful, grateful, and joyful that my husband was okay, that we were safe. I know it's a really hard place to switch into during something, but I was like the joy, like find what is good. And thank you for letting me talk about that. There's so much more I could explain, but I just feel what you're saying is resonating. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a good contribution to the whole talk.
Yeah.
There's
I had my first paddle tennis lesson today, and I fell on the court. My back is killing me. Any chance you could put a bit of joy in there?
You're here with us now.
My back doesn't know that.
Oh,
So move your awareness to where it doesn't hurt, and then you'll be a little better.
Or as they say, enjoy the pain and know there's work to do. Take the pain as the signpost. Yes, your body, your back does not enjoy it, but when you just keep doing what you're doing, you will have a very strong back and you will enjoy it. So enjoy your pain and know it's a signpost.
I'm fixed.
And I feel for you. So
And
It's not that bad. I don't. Hang on, I'll try. No, I won't. No.
so there's something that I found interesting, and it here in the last week there was a a quantum paradox that was proven. It was theoretically proposed, and they've actually observed the effect and noticed it. So what it implies is that at a local level, at the smallest level of the quantum existence, we're not real. We're not real until it's observed. It's almost like a rendering process. And so what comes from this is it kind of ties into the Gnostic texts that talk about that there's this this underlying fabric that exists where it's a higher reality where everything's tied together. And what we observe here is just a It's just a faint representation of that. And so, my brain's kind of tying the physics of, the new physics that's being explored and some of these ancient texts, and realizing that there's a link there. And it's this idea that the idea of being the observer, right? It's the observer and consciousness are the two key things that are linking together with these two ideas. And that's what we're talking about here. So it's like, it's almost as though the science is catching up to something that was experienced once, they wrote about it, and then we forgot about it, and now we're coming back to it again.
Sort of. Well, funny enough, for the last, I don't know how many years, 10 plus years or so, my business was about quantum, like the quantum way of being. So I've been in this quite a while. And so this 18 months ago, when sort of everything, I was no longer in a flow, something was off. And I realized this quantum is yes, it does work. It is the underlying fabric. And I worked a lot of it in it. But there is more to it. And this is where I'm heading now, this different direction. Because this quantum, when you work in the quantum at the 0 point and all this stuff, it is not tangible. And actually there is no joy. And you are in charge all the time. That's pretty heavy. So I let go, I let God, so to speak, and things changed. So what was already on my life path, on my journey, I said, okay, I stop, I let go. I surrender to the higher plan. And then suddenly I was shown my direction, I was headed. And all the things I did the last, say, 30 years or so, because I'm a truth and wisdom seeker, I have a lot of wisdom or knowledge and diving into truth and non-truth, and there is a lot of non-truth. So with all of this, I said, okay, and now where do I go from there? And it sort of nicely unfolded. And I'm in the process of putting it, or I was in the process of putting it into a 12 weeks group mentoring and webinars. And yes, there is a book and all kinds of wonderful things related to this, related to this, it needs to be shared with the world because it makes such a difference. I really can say from my experience how it changed me, my way of being. And yes, my freedom joined fulfillment, but sometimes my reality, my physical life, skipped over the joy. And now the joy is in the middle, which is very joyful, but it's a state of being. And yes, it's not always happy. But when you know this joy is a state of being, and the thing with the happiness is the nervous system, the way our nervous system is wired. When you have a certain state of input constantly, it's no longer registered. So permanent joy is not possible. Permanent happiness is not possible. But when you have the foundation of joy as a state of being, then you fall back to it. And in between, you have the experience that is not so joyful, but teaches you a lot. And when you sit with it, not meditate, you sit with it, or I like the word marinate. Imagine like you stayed in a marinade and it soaks in and it changes the state of being of you. And in this new state of being, you can do things differently. And when you do things differently, you can have a different result in your life.
So can I ask, I've got two different questions. The first one is, who were those that most influential in where you're at now? Was it people like Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, or was there anybody that was influencing?
No, they were in my past. So 10 years ago or so, They helped a lot. And at a certain point, there was questions or things did not match up for me. So it was an inner journey.
And then in the inner journey, did you achieve a state of connection to consciousness or to God? Did you have that experience? And my question would be is if you did,
Yeah,
what was
so funny enough, you see, recently I came across a quote. It was by, I think, what was it? Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash said, anyone who really wants the truth ends up at Jesus. Yeah, so I have to confess, I'm a recovering New Ager, New Thoughter. And I did not find Jesus. Jesus found me about 1 year ago. And everything changed. And it is not a religion. It is, say, what it is a relationship with the creator of the universe. That is the difference.
And can I ask, what was that experience like? What did it feel like? What was the
It was not like an epiphany or enlightenment or whatever. So it was a process, and I was just watching, observing what came in synchronicity to me. And you see, with about 30 years experience of inner work, all kinds of spiritual work, healing work, so I know energies, entities, and yeah, I have a big experience. And the difference was, it was very gentle. It was very loving. And the most incredible thing is really peace. So when I think it was about last January, I said, okay, I go for it. I have nothing to lose. I have everything to win. And what the change back then was this incredible peace. When you surrender to your creator, there is peace. He has your back always. And he will guide you gently, but he can be quite pushy as well. But it's a gentle push. And then you know, he said, yeah, sorry, I knew, sorry, I know. So it is inner directed in the relationship with your creator. And it is not me, it is actually everyone, because you see, the creator, God, created every human being. And the creator or the father, like every good father, he wants a relationship with his children. So the only thing is really you go inside. Oh, my internet is unstable. Interesting. So you go inside and say, yeah, I'm ready. I want to connect. Please, I want a relationship with you, my creator, my God. Show me, teach me. And then you have a conversation, meaning you ask and you listen, and sometimes you don't hear because you're not used to, say, the way it is communicated. But it is this gentle voice that is always there, and you are never alone because your creator is omnipresent. He's always everywhere, so you just attune to him. And suddenly all kinds of stuff in my life, weird stuff in my life, because of the many changes I went through, suddenly makes sense. It's part, say, of my unique training sessions I had over the course of my life. And by the way, each one listening has the same. And now you know, you just attune to it and do things differently.
Is
Allow
it
it.
Just a
spirituality? or finding Jesus or God or whatever. I'm not a religious person.
Me neither. I mean, you see, that is actually the point. I never was religious, and yes, I was spiritual, meaning I know that there is something non-physical that is governing the physical realm. So the point is, Christianity is not a religion. It is the relationship with the creator of the universe. Religion has been created by mankind for various reasons. So this is not religion. It is just a very personal relationship, and it is different for everyone.
Just a thought here, Anna. When we talk about connection with the creator, I mean, I think it's connection with just your inner, deeper self.
No.
Because I believe that there is a voice inside of me that guides me when I know where I'm going.
Yes. So you see,
so my personal God, you know, it's like there's a God in each one of us. If I can believe that, and I see you as another God, then
no, I'm not a God. I'm a child of God, if you will. So you see, there is not only a voice in, say, a voice in you. There actually is many voices inside of us, and it's the internal chatterbox. And yes, there is different voices, but I learned really along my long path, especially in the last 10 years, to discern the voices. And many of those voices were not benevolent. So it is really, the biggest thing is unlearning all the stuff I had learned over, especially the last 10 years. But suddenly when I said, okay, this is not true, or say, this is not the truth, what is it? You get the larger picture. And finally, you go down many rabbit holes. And when you go deep enough, all the rabbit holes end up in the same place. So going back to your voice, there is many voices, and we need to learn to discern them. We have not been told. You see, it's like, okay, there is this wonderful being or whatever it is, and here is the wonderful message. And yeah, I was there over many years following different people or courses and observe, marinate with it, observe, and go from there and ask, connect. Because you see, the omnipresent God is everywhere. And you can invite him, your creator, the creator of the universe, into your heart and go from there. And you will feel the difference. Just practice, start practicing. And let me know what your results are. And everybody, I'm here to connect with you, to share with you, and feel free to visit my website.
I'm going to put your details now in the chat. So give me 1 second while I just put the your details in the chat, Anna.
While you're doing that, Gary, I wanted to ask another question. And is there anything like diet or anything that would limit our ability to make this connection? So is there anything that would hinder our...
No. I mean, because thought is gone. Interesting. Thought has been pulled away. So nothing can take it away. It can be, like with me, it can be interfered with. And actually, when you're dying, you're just leaving this incarnation, say not incarnation, you're leaving this body, and you go back to where you come from. So you can go back to your creator.
And
I've put Anna's details in the chat. So if anyone wants to contact her after the the meeting, you can directly. Let me read, as we're coming towards the end.
Just something. My mobile. I'm living in a part-time blind spot for mobiles, but if you are on Telegram and use this mobile number, you connect with me on Telegram. Because calling me is forget about it.
Okay.
I was searching for your LinkedIn profile, Anna, when you said impossible is just a belief.
Mhm.
The minute you said that, I was looking through the list of Anna Levers when I typed that in, and I saw that in the title of your LinkedIn, so I could find you. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
We're just looking at some of the messages here in the chat. There's one from Mary Berkery. It says, it really is about awakening to a multi-sensory awareness or spiritual awakening. This is from Mary.
Yes, that's true. So that's true, and at the same time, it's sort of, you see, when you put it in words like this, it's overwhelming. It is about becoming aware that you can be consciously aware 24/7, and while you are, you observe. You see, a multi-sensory awareness, multi-sensory can be overwhelming. Meaning, while you observe, you can choose if you want to attune to something. But yes, you're right. And in a way, it is a spiritual awakening. And well, I feel it's coming back to where we come from. Because many of us had lengthy journeys, very different experiences, and your spiritual journey is different. And now we can come back because it feels like, you see, things are changing. When you look into the US, what happened recently, and when you see what happens worldwide, things are changing in a way we had no idea that this would be possible. And it is an awakening. Getting out of the darkness, getting into the light, but the true light, not the false light. So yes, Gary, go on.
So we're coming to the end. So what suggestions can you make if we want to just go a little bit further into this topic, Anna? I mean, you mentioned some courses that you're doing. Are there books? Are there any videos? Any YouTube videos, podcasts? What can we take away from this hour spent together?
Well, it's all in the make. So connect with me on LinkedIn or my website, joyful-change.com. Go from there. Then you see something about me, my work. You have your questions, and I always offer a free clarity call. So the next thing is this 12 weeks group mentoring starting December 21st. And yes, there will be webinars. I don't know exactly when, but when you're in touch with me, or just go to my website, connect with an email, and then I put you onto my private email list. I don't have an official one at the moment, just the private ones, and share whatever you want to share. And we go from there. And I'm looking forward to your feedback and your questions so we can co-create the project Joyful Change, which is about to become reality. Yeah, it's about to become a community because it's needed. The world needs joyful change.
Okay, so Anna, thank you very much. I would just mention there's a book called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer that talks about just accepting whatever life puts in front of you, not for your preferences, but for whatever. So maybe you can look at that, The Surrender Experiment, Michael Singer. Next week, we have Mary Berkery, who's just about to jump off. and she's going to be our guest speaker, and we're going to be speaking about equine assisted learning. Assisted learning, soul poetry, and all of these things connected. So if you're free and you want to learn a little bit more, I don't know anything about that subject, so I'm looking forward to that next week. Anna, thank you very much for your time and your insights. I mean, we only spent 15 minutes, an hour together, but I think we could stay here for hours trying to understand where we are and what life has for us. But there'll be other moments. And anyway, all the participants can contact Anna directly without, and then if you want to continue this conversation. Okay, so thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week, and have a great day.
Good luck. Take care. See you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.